Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Just Too Sweet Show right here on the Pop Culture Pros Network. Unfortunately, as you probably have all seen, we had some going-ons here in the pop culture multiverse. Tim, my co-host, who co-hosts with me on quite a few shows, has been suspended indefinitely on the network. He is not allowed to appear on any shows. He is not allowed to be part of anything. He can't comment on anything. He's been blocked. He's been removed from everything Pop Culture Pros. That being said, like I said, if you saw my video before, I posted a video. Steve Ferracci, the boss of Pop Culture Pros, posted a video, and I posted one as well to update everybody on where I'm at. Like Steve gave you the status of everything going on, and I provided you with where I'm at. So, Tim, I can't really, like I said, I'm obligated not to say much right now. But I do have a statement from Tim. I did speak to him earlier, albeit very briefly, and where the hell is it? Somewhere in here. I got my Tim wanted me to read this to you. Dear Pop Culture Pros fans, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. All right. I'm risking my own job here, but this is bullshit. I can't, folks, every now and then we have parameters and we have wide guidelines that that we can walk. I mean, we it's not like, we have these really tight parameters that we have to stay in. We have a wide berth of what we can do. Like as you see, I'm swearing, and we can swear and we can say, we can pick on people, and we have to keep it clean and stuff. And what Tim did, while some people might view it offensive, I personally didn't. I don't think the majority of the people who actually got to witness it before it was taken away, and it was caught quick, and it's bullshit. But what isn't bullshit is I'm here now, and I promised you, everybody out there, I promised you a show, and I promised you a co-host. And on short notice, I did find you a co-host. And I had to get him ready for the show. I had to tell him what we were going to do. I had to tell him what we were going to cover. I had to pick up basically where we were leaving off, what Tim and I were going to do tonight. And he had, it was tough. It was really tough. We got a lot of people chiming in right now. Terzio just explained it. It's just Tim got suspended. That's all I can tell you. I don't know why. The real reason why, I know basically I wasn't on this particular program that it happened on, and it was taken off quick. But Steve Ferracci and those who he consults with, and he has business partners, and while Steve is the CEO and main shareholder and everything like that, he's the head cheese. Nobody can do anything. but he has, we have lawyers and we have stuff like that and advisors. So he had to meet with the board and they came to the decision. It was ultimately Steve's, but he made the decision to suspend Tim. So that's what happened. Jaime, much love and respect to you. Bunker says, bring on the special guest. Tim is trash. We need fresh blood. What time was fire it. Faraci should fight. Well, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know what's going to. Oh, Chris Pedro. Good to see you, my dear friend. Much love to Upper Delaware County. I'm in Lower Delaware County. Chris is in Upper Delaware County. We're keeping the county safe. Good to see you, my friend. I miss you like crazy, man. But yeah, it's just basically like I said, Steve had to do what he had to do. But I think it's bullshit. I'm just going to say it right now. I can freely express myself on how I feel about it. It's fucked up. Do I think Tim should be right here with me? Yes, I do. Do I think any of this should have happened? No, I don't. But I do have. Oh, what's Raul? Raul, happy Halloween and let's go NXT. Yes, yeah, man, let's do it. Terzio says Steve, aka, but yeah, well, basically, yeah, he's the Vince McMahon of the company. What he says go. I'm nothing more than talent. I have no say in anything. I'm contractually bound to Pop Culture Pros. I can't do anything or go anywhere else. But Steve is the Vince McMahon of sorry, I was eating a Snickers earlier. Of Pop Culture Pro. But I do have a special guest host. For how long, I don't know, but he is here. And I would if you guys can help me. I mean, this guy is new. He's very new. He's done a few shows in the past in other places. He's a wrestling fan, I guess. You could say that he's watched wrestling, but I've known him for a while. But he's a great guy. So please help me in making him feel comfortable, guys. I would like to introduce you, everyone here in Pop Culture Pros, to my guest co-host tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Mr. Queens. Mr. Queens, how are you today?
Is this working? Is this on? Hello?
I think it is on.
I'm not too good with computers. Is this working?
We can hear you. We can hear you, Mr. Queens.
Eric. Good, Eric. Good. How are you? How are you today?
Good. How are you, Mr. Queen? I thank you for coming on tonight. Thanks for having taken the time.
Hey, listen. When you said wrestling, I came running. I've been a big wrestling fan for about a whole 10 years now.
Okay. Okay.
So, I love all the greats, like those ECW cats. I dug those guys. So I'm ready to go.
Okay, you're ready to go. Ready. I'm ready to go. ECW. Okay, you're okay. You're the real deal.
I'm the real deal. I'm ready to go. And I just want to say I apologize for your co-star. I heard he was a nice guy, swell guy.
Oh, super guy. Guy.
Hopefully he can get back soon. But until then, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some wrestling, and I'll just follow your lead.
Okay.
Now camera's good. Everything's okay.
We see you perfectly, Mr. Queens. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Love it.
Good. I won't divulge your location, but I will say that Mr. Queens does live in a different state. I was worried because of how far away he lives from the next city. He lives way out in the boonies.
Yes.
In another state. So I'm glad your reception and your Wi-Fi is coming through good tonight. So thank you for that. Did you happen to have any time today to look over the Bash at the Beach?
Yes.
I wanted you to talk about. Okay.
Now, I just got done watching it 5 minutes ago. What a magnificent event it was. It was very enjoyable. Yes. So I am ready to talk about it.
Okay. Now okay, go ahead.
No, I'm ready. I'm just gonna follow your lead. Is this people commenting over here? What is this?
This is people commenting. So what I can do is show you. So this is okay. So here's some show regulars. This is Frank Terzio.
He doesn't seem like a nice guy.
Terzio, he's a Mets fan. You gotta take the rough with the smooth with him. Raul's a great guy. Raul
Raul is like a nice guy.
Diehard wrestling fan, diehard pop culture fan. He's always been with us. He's a great guy. We have up here. We have Bunker. Bunker is a friend of mine. He's a real good friend of Tim's. So he's a little, Bunk kind of. I don't want to say turned heel, but he can't turn heel because he's already a heel. But he really did a double turn on Tim. So I mean, this is Bunker's really shooting right here. So this is Chris Pedro. Chris Pedro is an old friend of mine and a good friend of mine. Actually, we worked together for years and years and years. He now works somewhere else, but we keep in constant contact. He's a great dude, good fan of the show. So yeah, we're gonna periodically see people commenting here.
That's great. Technology is fantastic.
And Chris likes Mr. Queens already. He says it seems like he's a legit dude all the way. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Like I said, in no way, shape, or form am I trying to replace your former co-host Eric. I am not trying to do that.
That's fine. I'm just glad. I appreciate you being in the seat tonight. I appreciate you not. I didn't want to do this alone. So
I was supposed to be out trick or treating with a group of guys, but I said no. Forget it. I'm going to be here co-hosting the show. What is it? Just Too Sweet. I said I'm going to be here.
Just Too Sweet. Yes.
Just Too Sweet with Eric, and that's it. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm ready.
The gentleman here, I brought the comment up. This gentleman's name is Jeremiah Ramsey. He's actually Tim's brother-in-law. And what is over under on Mr. Queens getting hot in a mask and coming out? Mr. Queens.
No, it's quite comfortable.
I was gonna say you're more comfortable in a mask because every time I've met you, I haven't seen you in probably 3-4 months. Because I run into Mr. Queens periodically. He lives a state over from me.
Yep.
And I do travel quite a bit, and when I do travel through that state, I stop by Mr. Queens and I talk to him. But he's usually wearing the mask.
Well, you see, it's part. While the luchas is part of their culture, this is actually part of my religion.
Right.
So I have to wear my mask in public or on camera. I have to wear it at all times.
Okay, so it's part of your culture, part of your religion. It's a part of the creed of what you follow.
Exactly. Which we won't mention here because that's how you get suspended.
Yeah, we don't want to know. We'll keep all that stuff out. But okay, so Mr. Queens.
But it's not hot at all. It's quite comfortable.
It's not hot at all.
It keeps shifting on me, but other than that, it's very warm. It's very cozy.
It looks comfortable. I mean, I feel like I'm staring at a comforter when I look at you. It looks really good. But Mr. Queens, did you happen to? So what did you think? So tell me first off, were you familiar with anybody in this pay-per-view, the Bash at the Beach 2000 that we're talking about tonight?
Of course. You have your Hulk Hogan's, your Jeff Jarrett's, your Booker T's. I'm very familiar with, and I do remember this pay-per-view from back in the. This is right where I started watching wrestling.
Oh, it is. So this should be like a heightened memory for you. Like
it is. I remember this. I remember this very well.
So it's
and the controversy that comes with it.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, a companion to this would be so there's a series on the A&E. You're familiar with the A&E network, or not A&E? The Vice network.
Yes.
So the Vice network airs this series called Dark Side of the Ring, and this was actually a topic of one of the shows on Dark Side of the Ring. Did you happen to skim any of that? Because I asked you to skim that quick.
I did indeed. I did.
You did. Oh, okay.
I'm all caught up and I'm ready to go.
You're all caught up. So So let me just start out. So there was more to the pay-per-view than just the controversy. Okay. What did you think of the pay-per-view as a whole? Being that this era of WCW was kind of on the downturn of their bit. I mean, they were basically like sliding into a black hole and not coming out.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Being said, what did you think of the pay-per-view as a whole? Terrible? You didn't.
As a whole, it was terrible. Yeah, this was definitely WCW's decline, and this would have to be what I consider the nail in the coffin, as they say.
I agree. Were there any other matches on this pay-per-view that as terrible as it was? Is there anything you wanted to point out? Like, if you wanted to, did you like the first match have any?
Well, Eric, because you asked me to, I have the list of the matches right here.
You do. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what? Okay. So listen, I'm going to let you, Mr. Queens.
Oh, excellent.
I'll let you take the reins here, and why don't you guide us through this pay-per-view, and you take over, and I'll provide color for you. How's that?
Hey, thank you for that opportunity, Eric. This might lead to something better on this network
You never
down
know.
the line.
You,
The Mr. Queen show might be fantastic.
I would watch it. I don't know about anybody else, but
I'd
I would
stay away
watch
from
it.
wrestling though. I'd stay away from wrestling. I'd stay
Really?
away from sports. I think I'd be better under a talk show, but like a psychiatric talk show type kind of guy,
I think I like that.
helping people throughout their daily lives.
I think that's fantastic.
Good. I think maybe that. What's his name? Steve. What? Steve
Faraci. He's Italian.
He's the boss
Italian.
guy.
Yeah.
He's the boss guy.
He's
I haven't met
the
him
boss
yet.
guy.
I haven't met him yet.
You haven't met him yet.
I heard he's a nice guy, but he could be very volatile.
I can. Well, he's grumpy. Yeah, he's grumpy. But I can arrange a meeting if you like. I know him pretty well. It's funny. I have to bring this up. Everybody probably would think that I would be the one that would be suspended and kicked off and everything and fired due to the adversarial relationship that Faraci and I have.
I heard you would fight the rascal.
I'm just a little devil here in pop culture pros, but we have a mutual respect, and let's just face it, he needs me for ratings. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. He just needs me for ratings. I know I'm a whore. I don't care. But anyway, Mr. Queens, let's get all that bullshit aside. Take us through this pay-per-view. And tell us and give us your start out. Why don't you start out with the what you have and go on from there.
All right. Well, the pay-per-view started out. I couldn't stop laughing. Was for some reason Stevie Ray, one half of Harlem Heat, was the limo driver for Ernest the Cat Miller. That's how the pay-per-view opened.
That's how it opened.
What the hell was going on there?
Well,
I never remember that at all. That kind of slipped by me.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I had to go back and kind of revisit. I had to revisit that myself because I didn't remember that either. But I do have a vague memory of them being on it. Again, this is Vince Russo's futile attempt to prove that he's trying to make this up to he has Vince Russo has this wild fantasy that he's responsible for the success of the WWF, now WWE, which he is not, because everybody knows that everything has to go through Vince, and before it even goes through Vince, it goes through Pat Patterson, and it goes through Bruce Pritchard, and it goes through Gerald Briscoe. So Vince Russo is not the be-all, end-all of anything. And to me, this was one of his futile attempts to try to gain ratings, Jerry Springer style. I'd like to introduce you, Mr. Queens. This is David Waukee. David Waukee is another Pop Culture Pros personality. He's actually a host on the show. And he's also a producer of the A to Z program. I have a show, too, by the way, Mr. Have you seen that yet, the A to Z program? It's been off air for a while, and we're starting a new season soon.
This is literally my first day of exploring the Pop Culture Pros.
Okay, so you'll be able to dig into that at another time. But David Waukee is a producer for the A to Z program. So he said, "So sad what happened to Timmy. Extremely unfair. His co-hosts have done worse and haven't even gotten a slap," which is true. I have to agree with that. And being a man who has done worse, I can't understand what happened here. But yes, Chris Pedro is correct. He's correcting me on Russo's name. It's Shitstain. It's not Russo. So we're gonna refer to him now as Shitstain. Rick Cedric says Mr. Queens looks super. He does look super familiar. Well, Mr. Queens, if there is I believe it's called El Lucha Familia Religiano is the specific name of the religion you follow. Is that correct, Mr. Queens? It's
You are,
okay.
you are,
So
you are correct.
so if there is a sect of that in your town, Rick, that's what you're familiar with probably, because the masks are very similar. So you probably have seen him from there. Laura, that's exactly, Jaime, exactly what it is. And I'm not, you guys know how I murder the Spanish language, so I did my best to present that to you. He is a fine-looking lad, absolutely. So
thank you,
David. Are you free Saturday, Mr. Queens? I might need a co-host for a prediction show if Timmy's deal doesn't go through. Hey, look, you're getting offers already, Mr. Queens.
Another gig. Another gig. I love it.
This is crazy.
I'm in. David.
I cannot believe this.
David Joa. What is Joa?
So the J is silent, and the O and the O and the A in the Spanish language is kind of pronounced wa. So JOA is a wa, and Q sounds like a K, so it's Waki.
I'm in, David. I am in for Saturday, definitely.
Wow, Dave, you got a co-host. You've got a co-host. So hey, now we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about that. But Mr. Queens, why don't we continue with Bash at the Beach?
Excellent. Yeah, the first match too, by the way, Lieutenant Loco, who, if you remember, was actually Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah.
Remember, they had that little group called the Filthy Animals, which was a horrible group.
It was terrible.
And you had Juventud Guerrero was in there, and Lieutenant Loco was with MIA, that ridiculous group too, which consisted of just the most horrible wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
Horrible. And don't forget, we had a maskless, which, as me, I understand how horrible that is to have your mask taken off. Juventud had no mask. Rey Mysterio had no mask. And the only part about that match that was great was Stacy Keibler. That's all I'm going to say.
100%.
That's all I'm going to say. It was 12. It was 12 minutes of nonsense otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So not even really worth mentioning. It really wasn't.
Damn, she looked good.
She looked very good. She was all in white. Very nice.
Oh, God. She still does. You see the updated pictures of her lately?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, forget it.
Well, she came later. The other one, I forget the other girl's name in that match, though. She was somebody completely different.
Wasn't Tori Wilson?
Was it Major Guns?
Major Guns. That was Major Guns.
Yeah, you're right, Jaime. It was Major Guns. She came later.
Yep.
Second match, Big Vito defeated Norman Smiley. Like, how are these names even on a pay-per-view?
Big Vito?
Vito.
Now listen. Now I got to defend Norman Smiley. He was one of my favorites. Norman's actually a real. You want to know what's weird about Norman that nobody knows? He's like one of those England legit tough guy, like Regal and Finley.
Really?
He comes from that kind of background. Oh yeah. Norman Smiley can stretch you like silly putty. Yeah, he's tough. He's legit.
Wow.
As far as his opponent, who was it again?
Big Vito.
Oh, Big Vito LaGrasso. He's just another Mama Luke from. I think he's from Brooklyn. Just another meathead Italian guy who got into wrestling. My buddy Jared is good friends with him. He's Oxhog the wrestler, but his name is Jared Menny. He's from down there in the Amish country. But yeah, they're friends. But yeah, Vito's just another big Stu Gotts Brooklyn guy. So, and he's a wrestler. He's pretty good. He was Skull Von Crush and Big Vito, and he's in the Full-Blooded Italians and in the ECW. Skull Von Crush. That's who he was when I saw him at an ECW show. Yeah, he was Skull Von Crush.
Nice.
Kind of weird, but who won Vito and
Big Vito defeated Norman Smiley for the WCW Hardcore Championship.
Oh, the Hardcore. Was this the one where Norman was wearing all the football and the hockey stick? No, he didn't have all that on. Okay.
Next one I was talking about, Daphne with Crowbar defeated Miss Hancock, Stacy Keibler, with David Flair. David Flair had a terrible, terrible, terrible run in WCW.
He really did. It was just why did they waste time and effort on David Flair? I mean, he obviously didn't want to be there. He did not want to be there. Why do I look like my eyes are always closed?
I
Do I
always
have
look at
like?
my eyes are closed all the time too.
Do I look like I have squinty eyes or something, or is that just like
You do have a lot of light. You have
I
extra
do
light
have a
in your
lot of
face
light?
today. You have really extra light today.
Well, you know what's funny? I only have one light on. The one above me is off. I wonder if that light offset the other light. I wonder if two lights make them dark.
Two
Ooh,
lights make a wrong. Dun, 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 dun,
two
dun,
lights
dun.
make a wrong.
Okay.
Boom. I have a little quip about Crowbar too. Crowbar's name's Devin Storm. His real name is Chris. He was a tag team partner of mine at a one of Alpha's shows in Mountaintop, Pennsylvania, Mountainville High School. I can't remember. I partnered with him though. He was my tag team partner. It was great. He's awesome. He's a great guy too.
Nice. I was made aware you were a wrestler, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, I used to be an indie wrestler. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was. I forgot to mention, or maybe I did. I can't remember. But hey, I'm drinking Adirondack soda tonight, so it's
Sweet. The next match, Chronic. Who don't forget was Brian Adams and Brian Clark.
my favorite, one of my all-time favorites, Brian Adams. You know, I'm a big. I mean, Tim knows I'm a big. You're not. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I get excited because Tim is usually here, and well, everybody out there knows that I'm a giant Brian Adams fan. I'm a Crush fan. I'm a Brian Adams guy. I liked him in Portland. I like him in Demolition. I liked him as Kona Crush. I liked him as Evil Crush. I liked him as Biker Crush. I liked him as stupid guy with a tattoo on his head Crush. I liked him as Chronic. Brian Adams is one of my all-time favorites, and I think he was great.
Yeah, so basically this is what Crush and Adam Bomb as a tag team.
Crush and Adam Bomb. There's yep.
Well, they defeated the Perfect Event, Sean Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo for the tag team championship.
So Stasiak and Palumbo had the title. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, Chronic were a great team. They even transitioned to the WWE after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chris Kanyon defeated Booker T by pinfall. Booker T, who would go on later to have another match.
He would have another match on a pay-per-view.
Which is all part of the controversy.
Ooh.
Which we'll get to.
Yes.
And this is where we're at. 6th match of the night. Mike Awesome is wrestling.
Mike Awesome's wrestling. That's right. I forgot he was on here.
And he defeated Scott Steiner for the WCW United States Heavyweight title.
Awesome.
That's crazy to me.
It is crazy, but I like Mike Awesome in ACW. I thought he was great. I thought Mike Awesome was one of my favorites. I just thought he was awesome.
Next up, Vampiro defeated the Demon. And this isn't the first Demon, because this is the first Demon was Brian Adams, no?
Was Brian Adams, yes. And then he did the one-off, and then they gave it to Dale Torborg, I think his name is, some baseball coach.
Son of Jeff Torborg.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Played for the Mets, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, he coached the Mets. I don't know if he played for them now.
That's right.
Next up, Shane Douglas defeated Buff Bagwell. How is Shane Douglas getting a push at this time?
I don't know.
Isn't Buff one of your younger, more popular stars, and you're letting him lose to fucking Shane Douglas?
They're about the same age. Buff's a little younger, but like Shane's still considered like Shane was still thought to has had a long career ahead of him. We botched the WWF thing, and the problem with Shane. I like Shane Douglas, I really do. I remember Shane Douglas from the UWF. Then I remember him from NWA. Then I remember him from the WWF run in 1990 that he had. He had a little babyface run for about a year. And then he left he left wrestling altogether because his dad was sick. And then he came back to, I think, WCW and did the Dynamic Dudes thing. Or no, he did. He was teaming with Ricky Steamboat. That's what it was. And then he went to Eastern Championship Wrestling and won the vacant NWA title, and threw it in the trash. Well, he started his whole Extreme thing, but then, of course, when the money came calling to the WWF, he took that, and then he tried saying he didn't make any money there, and they buried him, and the Clique buried him, and I don't know if I buy half of it. I believe Sean was probably a dick to him, but he doesn't have anything but good things to say about Kevin Nash and
well, from what I know of the Clique is they wanted to work with the best, and they just didn't consider him the best, so he takes that as burying him. But they just didn't think he was good enough, to be honest.
Well, he wasn't getting over is the problem. Yeah. He wasn't getting over. And you know what? That might be half his fault, half the gimmick's fault, because that Dean Douglas gimmick, while cool, I don't think it was going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the next match is the controversial one. Hulk Hogan defeats Jeff Jarrett for the WCW World Title in 1:19 after Jeff Jarrett lays down and lets Hogan pin him.
I couldn't believe that.
And that's the 9th match. They got 2 more matches after this. Imagine that.
Yeah.
The next one was. Well, so we have to talk about the controversy. Let's get to it. Goldberg defeated Kevin Nash for Scott Hall's WCW contract.
Ooh,
yeah,
I remember that too.
Poor Scott was having his worst time. And then they said the final match after the controversy, Booker T ended up winning the WCW title against Jeff Jarrett. You had 2 title changes of the same title at this pay-per-view.
Yeah, with three different guys.
Horrible.
Oh, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. How's the mask doing, sir?
It's good. See, I have a little facial hair, so it kind of like sticks to it a little bit. So I have to.
Gotcha. Okay.
Keep adjusting it a little bit.
Are all your other masks like that, or I mean, do you have different masks to wear different times?
I have different ones. Yeah, I have like
cool.
different flags, and I have like different teams that I like. I have masks, and
cool
stuff like that.
That's cool.
I'm not sweating at all. It's not hot. It's just I said it slides a lot, so I'm gonna make sure my eyes are sticking out of it.
Yeah. He's just trying to see everybody. That's
And all these comments. I'm trying to see all the comments.
Yeah, they're right over here on the side. So, not sure if you knew that. You're new.
I'm getting used to it. I'm excited.
Me too. So yeah, why don't we dive right into the controversy here? So started out with the first title match, which, if depending on who you want to believe, was the way it was booked, wasn't the way it was booked. One guy was told one thing, one guy exercised creative control. I mean, by what you've seen, Mr. Queens, what do you feel? What is your opinion on all of this? Like,
this is becoming the next Montreal Screwjob, to where nobody will admit. Everyone is admitting to one thing, or not admitting to it, or I mean, because if you watch the old WCW, WWF, whatever it's called, Monday Night Wars, there's a whole episode on there where this is part of it, and the story is completely different than it is now. So who's telling the truth? In that special, we had Vince Russo say Hogan would not go for his idea. So Hogan, he said, screw it, Jeff, lay down. I want you to just lay down, let him take the title. Hogan, as quoted, which I was trying to find it, but I couldn't find it to play it on the show. Hogan actually says, the guy came to his trailer and said, this is what we're going to do. And Hogan said, no. We're going to have a good match. I'm going to drop the leg, 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of it. Okay. So then supposedly that, after Jeff Jarrett lays down, Hogan gets the belt, storms off, runs away, leaves the building. Russo comes out and cuts a promo.
Yep.
And I just so happen to have that. For some reason, that promo happens to be loaded. I don't know if you'd like to play it.
I would. You know what? If you can manage your way around the media around our show here and how it's set up.
I've been practicing for the little time that I had.
Oh wow! So hey, why don't you give? Oh, look at that! You got it up there. Wow. See? That's awesome. You're doing really good at this, Mr. Queens.
I've been around. Around.
Good. I'm glad. I think I picked the right guy.
Yeah. So here is Vince Russo's promo after right before the title match between Jarrett and Booker T, after Hogan and Bishop had already left the building.
Okay.
And the reason I didn't know I was going to come back or not is because from day one that I've been in WCW, I've done nothing but deal with the bullshit of the politics behind that curtain. The fact of the matter is, I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit. But let me tell you the reason why I did come back. I came back for every one of the guys in that locker room that week in, week out, bust their ass for WCW. I came back for the Booker T's. I came back for every single guy in MIA. I came back for the Animals. I came back for Jared. I came back to the guys behind that curtain that give a shit about this company. And let me tell you who doesn't give a shit about this company. That goddamn politician Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Because let me tell you people what happened out here in this ring tonight. All day long I'm playing politics with Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan tonight wants to play his creative control card. And to Hulk Hogan, that meant that tonight in the middle of this ring, when he knew it was bullshit, he beats Jeff Jarrett. Well, guess what? Hogan got his wish. Hogan got his belt and he went the hell home, and I promise everybody else I'll go in the goddamn grave. You will never see that piece of shit again.
Amen.
Oh, Madden throwing it in.
I sat out there in the people just like you.
That's the gist of it. That's the part. That's the only part that you really need to hear.
That's the big part of it. Well, you know.
Well, see, now that's been the story for, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you fast forward to Dark Side of the Ring, and all of a sudden, now you have Eric Bischoff saying, no, that was our idea. It was our idea for Hogan to lay down, because then he would walk off all pissed off, let people in behind the scenes of the creative control contract hate him to the point where, he leaves, comes back in Halloween Havoc after whoever has the title then, and says, look, you're not the real champion. I'm the real champion. Let's fight.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, but now who the hell's telling the truth? Now, according to Russo, but according to said, now, Hogan the first time during the Monday Night Wars thing did not mention that at all. He just said, tell Jarrett we're going to have a good match. I'm going to pin him 1, 2, 3, walk out. So who, so where's the truth now?
Well,
and then fucking Russo changes his mind mid-show, saying that he was in on the whole pinning thing and the promo. They knew he was going to do the promo. Bischoff and Hogan say, no, we knew about him laying down, but we had nothing to do with the promo.
No, I kind of believe that because you can tell that promo was like Russo was shooting right off the hip on that. Like he was mad. He was butthurt.
He's not that good of an actor. Neither is Hogan.
He's not.
When Hogan threw the belt, when he said, is this your idea, Russo? This is why his company where it is, and he was telling Jeff Jarrett to get up. Yeah. I mean, he's not that good of an actor.
No, Hogan definitely isn't.
No,
or otherwise he'd be where The Rock is right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the Dark Side of the Ring really lays it out. But again, now you got guys taking credit for shit that we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Guys admitting to shit you can't tell who's telling the truth.
No.
The only thing that I give Bischoff and Hogan is he did have creative control.
He did.
So why would, and Bischoff even said it, why would we go along with Russo's bullshit when we have creative control?
Exactly. That's what makes me wonder about, because, I got to say, a lot of people hate Eric Bischoff and a lot of people think he's whatever, but you know what? After hearing and reanalyzing stuff that happened back then and hearing his take now, I got to say that I don't think the guy's full of shit. Like, I think he's pretty legit. I think Bischoff's cool.
And there's really no reason for him to lie.
There's no reason for him to lie.
And in doing research, Eric, I noticed you and Tim did a show last week about the many lies of Hulk Hogan.
We did, yes. That was a good show.
It was a very good show. I enjoyed watching it.
Thank you.
And Hogan is a liar, but Vince Russo is. I mean, he's
Oh.
certifiable. I mean, he's got Bischoff. He's got almost every wrestler, and we know how Jim Cornette feels about him.
I was gonna say we can't bring up Russo without Corny. You motherfucker, shit stained son of a bitch.
Says he's gonna piss on his grave when he dies.
He made it a point to put in his, in as part of his marriage, she has to, no matter what condition he's in, wheel him to his gravestone, and so he can take a piss on it. I wouldn't doubt if he has got piss in a bottle somewhere, and if he dies before he does, he's going to make his wife dump that piss on Russo's grave. Like, I have no doubt in my mind it's going to happen one way or the other.
I mean, though, but like I said, though, who now? There's so many different angles. There's so many different, and I guess you got to go against Russo, though. No, you have to go against him.
Yeah, and even Jarrett had a different take on the whole thing. He was kind of different from, he really wasn't the same as Bischoff, really wasn't the same as Russo. He kind of was in his own. So I've got to say Russo's the definite bullshit, my opinion.
So you think the laying down was part of it?
I think so.
The Hogan walking out was part of it. And then Russo went rogue with the promo.
I think Hogan walking out was part of it, but I think Hogan shot a little bit on everything at the end there, because I don't think Hogan wanted. I think something went wrong somewhere.
Well, yeah, because Hogan never did come back, and he sued.
Yeah, he never came back. He left, and then the next time we saw him was a year later in WWE.
Yep, so he definitely did something happened there. I guess that promo really wasn't planned. And now Bishop, Russo changed his mind again. Oh no, the promo was part of it. What do you mean the promo was part of it? You just said that the whole getting pinned wasn't part of it, and now the promo wasn't part of it?
Come on. You can't believe a goddamn word this guy says. This is a guy who bullshitted his way onto the booking committee of the WWE. Hindsight, had they boss. Hey, boss. How's it going?
Who's this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm furious. I can't take my kids trick-or-treating without coming home to this. This is clearly Tim Tabala.
No, sir. This is Mr. Queens. This is Mr. Queens. He doesn't live in New York. He lives in Connecticut. I can prove it. I'll send you his address and everything. I can prove it. He lives in Connecticut. This is not Tim Tabala.
You listen to me.
He's
you listen to me. And you listen to me good.
He is. Yes,
That's
sir.
That's Tim Tabala. And Eric, I trusted you with this, and I will deal with you later.
Sir, Wow,
he's scary.
Yeah, he gets mad, man. I told, like I said,
quite scary.
He gets like scary grumpy.
Is he a little guy? Like, does he have Napoleon complex? Is he a little guy?
I think so. Yeah, he's like 5'6".
5'6". Okay.
Yeah, 5'7" maybe with like those Florida loafers on, Wow,
this Tim guy must really gotten under his skin.
He really did, and I don't know why he's giving me bullshit here about you. I mean, you're clearly not Tim Tabala.
Not even close.
Do you even know who Tim Tabala is?
I've heard he was quite handsome, but I've never seen him.
He's a pretty good looking guy. I'll be honest. And you saw the Hogan Live show last week, so that's Tim. That was Tim, and
handsome. It's not my type, but handsome.
Well, yeah. I mean, he is.
Wow, he is angry.
He's very angry, and I didn't expect that. Wow. Yeah, I guess I'm going to be in deep shit here soon.
I'm sorry. You got. I mean, I hope that, Dave. I hope I can do the show with you on Saturday. Unless the suspension gets lifted before then, I don't know.
If the suspension does get lifted, you at least got to come on this show and do it, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate you filling in for me or for Tim and doing this. So listen, I'll take a hit for the team from the boss. I don't care. It's I interrupted trick-or-treating in Florida. I mean, I thought that was every day Halloween in Florida,
That's true.
Does everybody is the best costume down there the Florida man, like in quotes? Like I don't know. It's
Tony Hermada says he does have little man complex. Uh
oh.
And Rolo says Steve is, in other words, Vince McMahon. Oh.
Jaime's saying you worked me. No.
I don't know what that means.
We didn't work you, Jaime. Okay, so Mr. Queens, a work. See, since this is a wrestling show, a work is a put on of events. In other words, like if you see a situation, okay, so let's take example like when Hulk Hogan cut the promo and then Vince Russo came out afterward. Vince Russo is saying that everything was a work, which means it was pre-planned. Okay, and so Jaime thinks that we pre-planned this and that you're actually Tim Tabala when you're not.
I am not.
And listen,
not even close.
For religious purposes, I can't reveal his name.
Many of us have this background. Many of us do.
Well, yeah, we're in a tri-state area. I mean, I'm sure a lot of homes were built the same way. I mean,
exactly.
it's just you can't judge it.
Every house on my block looks exactly like this. So
yeah, albeit, yeah. So, but let's flash forward. Okay, so the Russo promo happened. Now where are we at now? We're at a title match with Booker T and Jeff Jarrett. Now, who is potentially the champion? Nobody. The title's vacant because it was stripped off Hogan.
Basically, he said that the belt that Hogan had he took home with him is a bullshit. That the real title is getting fought at the main event, which Booker T eventually won.
Yes, that was his first WCW title reign.
Can I say honestly, and maybe this will start some controversy. I apologize. Booker T's title reigns were all shit.
In WCW, they weren't great.
Shit. They weren't great. You had this controversy one.
Yep.
And then he wins a fucking guitar in a pole match. Yep. And then he wins the title in a box match. And then he all his 5 time bullshit, all were terrible.
Yeah, 3 or 4 of them were shit. Didn't he win on the last Nitro too?
Yeah, that's a bullshit one too, because it was the last. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like, okay, gee, you won. Now you're unemployed, and the title's useless.
You go home for a year, and then you come back later on.
Yeah, and get paid. I'm sure that hurt everybody's feelings. All those guys that went home and got paid, I'm sure that hurt their feelings.
He did his best work in WWE anyway.
He really did. He really came to prominence. I mean, he was great back then, but he really, really came into his own in the WWE. I agree.
So I guess our final verdict would be Russo's full of shit?
I think the final verdict is Russo's full of shit. I think Russo's an asshole. I have to say that everything that Jim Cornette has ever said about him in the past 10 years is absolutely 100% true. Because like you said...
I'll agree with you as far as I'm going to say Russo's full of shit. But with the amount of shit that Hulk Hogan talks too, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Bischoff to kind of fib on his behalf. Oh, Hogan's not doing this show.
No.
He's never going dark side of the ring. Never.
No, and you know what? That was going to be my one asterisk on this whole thing is that Bischoff. The only way I see him bullshitting is on behalf of Hogan, because I love Bischoff, I do, but he is tagging right beside Hogan, just like Brian Knobbs, just like all those other guys that are in the Hogan camp, Beefcake, Jimmy Hart. He is one of Hogan's entourage, and he is never ever gonna cross Hogan ever.
Oh, what do you think of Beefcake, Eric? I've always wanted to know.
Well, I don't like Brutus Beefcake. I think he's an asshole. I think he's a liar. I think he's an insecure piece of shit who talks shit about the Ultimate Warrior and talks shit about Kerry Von Erich and talks shit about all the guys who were better than him. Instead of praising them and being happy with your spot, you got to shit all over everybody because you weren't. I'm sorry, Mr. Queen. I'm very passionate about my hatred for Brutus Beefcake. I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
I understand
And
completely.
I'm sure that guy.
I'm sorry I brought it up, and I'll never bring up his name again.
That's okay. Hey, listen, it's on. You didn't know, but I'm sure that guy David Waukee is gonna chime in and say something about this again. But yeah, I say the final verdict is fuck Russo. You know,
I'll agree. I'll agree with you.
That's that I think because I think the shoot promo that he did says it all, and I think that I don't know how many people have watched WCW before that or after that, but he ran that into the ground. It was already like sinking, and he just like blew another hole in the hull, and down it went. There's David right now. Is there a Hijo del Mr. Queenzo?
That's my cousin, Charlie.
Charlie lives on the other side, 38th
over
Street?
there.
Yeah.
Back there.
And
to the left.
And 14th, yeah.
To the left, back there,
Something like that. The left back there.
That's all you need to know.
Not Jersey left. Not a Jersey left.
Not a Jersey left. Definitely not.
No. But
a tri-state left, which is really two rights and a left.
Two rights and a left. So you can go right and left in Connecticut and the state that I live in, New York. I don't know how many times you've been to New York, Mr. Queens, but New York's a nice. I
like to stay for a day, but not to live there.
Yeah, New York's a nice state, and it's a big, nice city too. And I guess unless you live there too long, it's not. From what I hear from friends of mine, but it's okay. It's okay. But the tri-state area is beautiful. If you're talking about Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, or Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey, or
Christmas is coming. It's always a nice time around Christmas.
It always is. Yeah, they bring the tree from upstate and they bring it down to Rockefeller Center. You should do that sometime if you ever get to the city, Mr. Queens. It's
I'll try my best.
It's wonderful there.
I'm very busy up here.
I know you are. And I'm sorry. I mean, if I know a guy. If you ever want to stay in Glendale, Middle Village area, I know a guy that lives there. So I'm sure he put us both up.
Awesome. Definitely have to do that. We'll have to meet up one day.
We'll have to meet up one day. Yeah. Just listen. Just take my advice. Don't get off Rush Pond on the train.
That sounds terrifying.
It's absolutely horrifying, and I can say that with experience.
Well, I just want to thank you again, Eric, for allowing me to be a part of the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh,
I've had a great hope. Hopefully, I can continue on this network as long as that scary guy with the hat allows me to come back one more time. I can definitely do that show with Dave if he wants me back. But that boss, he seems a very scary guy.
He is, his Outback Jack costume he's got on there. It's boy, he should have rethought that. It's Crocodile Farachi. But no, the pleasure's all mine, Mr. Queens. Thank you for taking the big task of filling in some gigantic shoes that can't be filled theoretically, but can be stepped into. And I appreciate you coming in and doing that. You did a fantastic job. I would like everybody watching and everybody in the comments to thank Mr. Queens over here for doing a wonderful job. And Mr. Queens, on behalf of Pop Culture Pros and the Just Too Sweet show, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on tonight.
I appreciate it. I will be here anytime you need me to co-host or to substitute or any other thing you need, a guest host, a guest, anything.
Analyst, anything.
Analyst,
you're
or
good? Okay.
Anything.
Good.
Or on the scene reporter.
I will keep that in mind, and you are right at the top of the list. And
I heard you have a talk show. If you ever need an out in the field guy, I will definitely be that guy.
You know what? Funny, I do have a talk show. I have the A to Z program that is going to begin.
Oh, A to Z, like your name? That's
like
great.
My name. Isn't that
clever.
funny? Isn't that funny how I did that?
That's clever. I like that.
And so I'm beginning the new season of it this week.
Awesome.
And it's going to be fantastic. And if Tim is lifted, his suspension is lifted by then, he will be my co-host. And David Waukee can. Well, hang on a minute. Can Mr. Queens replace Bert? Of course he can. I mean, I think we've already proven that cat food can do that. But I love Bert to death. He you know, Bert's like this the Gene Siskel of pop culture pros now. He doesn't want anything to do with us anymore. So
one of those guys.
He's one of those guys. He
found a girlfriend and moved on.
He found a. How did you guess? That's exactly what happened.
I've seen it before.
Okay, that's okay. He's doing okay. It's suspect what he's doing. I've
seen it at other companies. I've seen it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you know,
like, oh, look at me! I got a girlfriend and free tickets to a movie. I can't do your show no more.
I couldn't. Like, you know, you hit it right on the head. You know, you must have seen this type of behavior before.
Many times.
Yeah.
Many times. I've been around. So
you have, and you know. So anyway, everybody, that's going to do it tonight for the Just Too Sweet show. I would like to thank everybody that tuned in. I would like to thank first and foremost Mr. Queens over here.
Thank you.
For filling in,
Eric.
Doing the daunting task of filling in for Tim, which almost is impossible to do. But if anybody did as close of a job, it was definitely you, Mr. Queens, and I thank you for that. And
thank you again. Thank you again.
I will get my guest producer who is behind the scenes tonight to take us out. But until next time, join perhaps Tim and I. Perhaps it will be myself and Mr. Queens. Perhaps it'll be Faraci and I if I get my tongue pulled and not allowed to have a host. He might be looking over my shoulder, so he might be the co-host of the A to Z program. But anyway, guest producer from behind the scenes, take us out of here with the Just Too Sweet outro.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.